Do you feel like you need God's encouragement and wisdom throughout the week to take hold of His promise to fly like an eagle? You come to the right place. Welcome to Eagles on the Hill. Let's join our host, Pastor Jeff Scheich.
All right. Hey, people, I am your host, Pastor Jeff Scheich. Thanks for joining us. Search for Eagles on the Hill on YouTube and hit the subscribe button there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us there as we together follow Jesus and draw strength from Him to fly like an eagle. This is an exciting episode because if you know me at all, you know I love Israel and love touring around Israel, doing pilgrimages there, leading people there. And so Carrie and Andrew Parr from Christ Lincoln just got back from Israel from a 15-day pilgrimage there. And so I want to welcome Carrie to the podcast. Carrie, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to have you here and find out about your trip. So first of all, how long did it take you to get back from Israel?
Oh, well, I mean, we woke up early in the morning. So overall, I think 28 hours from the time we woke up to the time we pulled in the driveway at home.
Wow.
And I was up that entire time. So
my goodness.
My secret to not having jet lag is just don't sleep on the plane. So
Just don't sleep. And then were your kids right there like, boom, okay, Mom, let's play?
6:40 in the morning the next morning. Yeah, they were in there. So
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you're just kind of on a high but exhausted. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you were over there, most groups spend time in the Galilee area, so up north around the Sea of Galilee, touring a little bit,
Yep.
and then head down to Jerusalem in that area. Which of those was if you had to choose one, which was your favorite, seemed the most authentic, whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, so we spent probably about our first week in the Galilee, Golan Heights, that area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second week was almost all in Jerusalem and that surrounding area. So I would say that my favorite was the first week, just because, I feel like the land, it's more spread out. It's more, like you said, authentic. I feel like it's easy to put yourself in that position of seeing where Jesus walked and what Jesus and his disciples experienced.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say most people that we take over there, they do like Galilee better. There's some great sites, obviously, in Jerusalem, but there's just something about it doesn't seem all that changed from the time when Jesus was there, a lot of places.
Right.
So, yeah. So now you guys got to hike up, I think, Mount Arbel, you had told me. So tell me about Mount Arbel and what that's all about. And
Yeah. So we went on Mount Arbel, and it's believed that Jesus had gone up there to pray. And then while his disciples were down in the Sea of Galilee, and then he went down and met them there. And that's where Jesus walked on water and things like that. So, I think what was really cool about this was, again, just that more organic landscape. You can really put yourself in the position of Jesus, of like, wow, yeah, it's rugged, and we hiked up there. I know you can take a bus, I think, up there too, but we hiked the way up there. So there's a picture of my husband and I, and we're sitting up there on top, and then you can see kind of over the top of me is the Sea of Galilee, and then just around the mountain where you can't really see is the city of Magdala, where Mary Magdalene is from. And
you could see that on the walk up, right? When you were walking up, you could see Magdala.
Yes. Yeah, we could. And if we kind of stepped further over, we could see it as well. Yeah.
Right. So and from the top of that mountain, you can see Magdala. You can see the whole northern half of the Sea of Galilee. You can, on a clearer day, you can see up to Chorazin, which is up in the hills north of the Sea of Galilee. You can see Capernaum over here. You can see all kinds of places, and there's even some boat docks down there, and On those boat docks, did you get to go out on the boat on the Sea of Galilee?
We did,
Yeah.
yes.
That is
Yeah, that was
just
really neat.
that's an amazing experience to be out there. And you
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
hope no storms come up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. And there's also they call it the Jesus boat down there, which is a boat that was discovered, I don't know, about maybe 20 years ago or so, 25 years ago, when the sea was really low.
Yep.
And and that's a first century boat, right?
Yeah, they call it the Jesus boat. Obviously, they can't prove that Jesus was ever in it, but they've been able to date it back to that time period. And they've also been able to, just the way that the boat was constructed, prove that it was a Jewish boat versus a Roman boat. So kind of one of those things where it's like, you never know if Jesus or his disciples were in it, but it definitely, again, just connects you back to what things were like in that time.
Right. It's very cool. And I love how they call it the Jesus boat. You know, we're going to actually stay, and when we go in January, we're going to stay in the kibbutz where the Jesus boat is located. And, they don't name it, the maybe not Jesus boat, but that wouldn't draw many tourists, but
Not so
Jesus
much.
boat. But it is it's authentic. It's first century. It's pretty good. So it's
Yeah,
great.
it is.
Yeah. And then we talked about the storms on the Sea of Galilee. So tell us what you learned about why storms show up so suddenly, and what's the deal with the disciples getting scared and all that.
Yeah. So while we were in that area, I had taken this picture of the way that the mountains make this V shape.
Okay.
And it was explained to us that creates a wind tunnel that goes right there to the Sea of Galilee. So
and this is on the western shore, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so it makes sense then whenever you think about, the story of the disciples being afraid, even though they were, seasoned fishermen, but they were, all of a sudden a storm seemed to come out of nowhere. Jesus was asleep. They were afraid. And the V shape in the mountains is what would cause the storms to kind of sneak up on you. And so anyway, I had taken a picture of it. I just thought, again, it was a neat relation to realize how that would have happened, how it kind of would have taken them by surprise.
Right. Come in there seemingly out of nowhere, but out of somewhere, but they just didn't know it was coming.
Right.
They didn't have their weather channel on their ship with them, their boat with them.
Exactly.
So, and then people also often go north of the Sea of Galilee, probably, I don't know, an hour or two bus ride north to a place called Caesarea Philippi. I think that you went there, right?
Yes. Yep. We did.
So tell us about that place.
Yeah. So it's called Banyas today, but we all know it as Caesarea Philippi, and it is named Banyas or Panyas because of the god Pan that was worshipped there at the time. So there's a picture that I took, and there's a cave which is referred to as the gates of Hades. And then to the right of that, you'll see there are these carvings out in the rock, and it's almost, I'm trying to think about it, almost like you would do, a cutout in your wall to display something.
Like an indentation kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And they've got like a curved top and, somewhat decorative. And that's where they would put their gods to worship, or their idols, I should say, to worship. But at the opening of the gates of Hades is where the people that lived there would sacrifice children to their god.
So just a horrific place, really.
Yeah. And so the significance of it, as we know, is that Jesus goes there and he talks to his disciples. And it talks about this in Matthew, where, Jesus is asking, who do you say that I am? And, that's where Peter says, you're the Messiah, you're the Son of God. And it's kind of that first recognition of Jesus as the Messiah, and revealing that to his disciples. And Jesus's response to that is, on this rock, I will build my church, and even the gates of Hades won't overcome it. You can read that and you just think, okay, well, it's the gates of hell.
Sure.
Actual hell. But then when you go to Caesarea Philippi and you see, oh, there's this cave that's called the Gates of Hades, and these horrific, evil things happened there, and Jesus was standing there when he said this, it just takes on, a whole new meaning.
Right. Yep. And you're actually there, like where this happened. It's amazing how many places you can go and actually be where this stuff in scripture happens.
Right.
And you're not the same person when you come back. Like, you'll never read the Bible the same.
Right.
You'll be able
just
to picture
that connection to the geography and connecting that back to the Bible, I think, was one of the most impactful things for us.
Right. Now, and you got to see the Jordan River. Now, the Jordan River is not the same all the way along. So tell us about the differences in the Jordan River.
Yeah. So they're in Caesarea Philippi and Tel Dan, where we also went. It's this beautiful, clear water. And it's where like the Hermon Springs flow into the Jordan River. But then if you go down further to the south, where we actually believe that Jesus was baptized and there was the crossing of the Jordan and those types of things, you cannot see through the water.
Right. It's really dirty.
Yeah, it's really dirty. So we went in, but it was definitely not the beautiful, clear picture that you can see in some of our photos.
Right. Well, I'm excited for you to be able to share some of this with us and to encourage people on the podcast. So I want to thank you for joining us today for that. And I'm sure you, when you go to Israel, you got stories that could go 15 days long. So it's kind of fun to just review. I'm amazed at how much you're remembering, and clearly, like, you're doing great. You got to be pretty organized.
A lot of notes every day. I dated my pictures in separate albums and my notes so that I could try to retain more than what most people say that you'll retain from a trip like this. So here's Stephen.
Well, you did great. I'm amazed, and it's wonderful to be able to then share with others and even remember yourself. So that's awesome.
It is. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to say goodbye here to you, and just thanks for being with us. So
absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
Okay. All righty. Well, that's what we got for you today. We want to encourage you to email us with comments, questions, topics, whatever, eaglesonthehill211@gmail.com. That's Eagles on the Hill, straight through, no dots, dashes, underscores, spaces, eaglesonthehill211@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you've been to Israel, let us know. Subscribe on our YouTube channel and hit the like button there as well. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe or follow us there. Remember the promise of God in Isaiah 40, that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will fly on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So have a great day.